Do you need level 2? Hey folks, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing well today. Welcome to the video. So, do you need level 2 data to trade? I made a video when I first started my YouTube channel with the same title. I would like to make a follow-up video today talking about this. Quite an interesting topic, and I still think that the majority of new traders are relatively clueless regarding this topic. So let's get into it right now. We'll talk about level 2. There are a lot of misconceptions regarding this. What is level 2? Some traders are under the impression that it's some special tool that's going to allow them to see the markets clearer, and they absolutely need it. It's so important, right? In fact, if you don't know what you're looking for, it's going to just add more noise to your trading, in fact, right? Because the market specialists and market makers, they know very well what they're doing in this market, and they know very well that the majority of traders have no idea what they're looking for. A car is a faster way to get to work, but if you don't know how to drive it, then it means nothing to you. So that's the same principle. So what's important for every trader is you got to do as much digging as possible and learn the most you possibly can on the topic. You are actively practicing the process of learning and then unlearning. As you become more knowledgeable about the topic, you can start to come to your own conclusions about it and then use it to your advantage when it comes to trading. So again, you need to spend some time and learn about the tools first to give yourself a good foundation, basically, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so what is a level 2 feed? Let's just keep it simple because there's a million videos that explain it, but none of them actually go to the nitty gritty to tell you all the little details and about why you should be looking at this or why not. What is level 2 feed? Simply, it's the limit order book. It's the orders that are in the market to buy below the market price and to sell above the market price. So in this case, you can see the price is in the middle. The bid is 1936 and the ask is 1938. This is the bid being displayed at this price, and this is the offer being displayed at this price. So just by looking at this right here, you can see that this bid is relatively thick, meaning that there's a lot of contracts, there's a lot of buy orders that want to get filled in this market, and that there's not a lot of sell orders at this price, meaning that theoretically the price should go higher from here as there's less resistance to the upside. But that's not necessarily the case, of course, because what actually matters is not what's being displayed on the book, it's what's actually trading into the market. And that's what a lot of the new traders don't understand when they first get into this. So we'll talk about this more as the video goes on. Okay, so once you understand the basic concept of level 2, then we can start to move on to the more important concepts. So we've established the fact what the level 2 feed is, what it gives you, is limit orders wanting to buy below a price and limit orders wanting to sell above a price. But I just finished telling you that it doesn't necessarily mean that there's an offer that's much bigger than the rest of the size being displayed, that offer actually wants to trade. Because big institutional money know that there's people looking at this. They will use all of their tools necessary to confuse as many traders as possible before the market makes the moves that people are kind of looking for. So next point is knowing that it's a game. So market makers and specialists, they've been doing this for a long time and they have many more tools available to them than you do. The market depth is one way that they can use to confuse traders on a daily basis. Guys, you're in a game. Once you admit you're in a game is when you can start to play the game. But if you're not aware that you're in a game, if you think that you're in some kind of fantasy land that trading is easy, I just need to learn about level 2 and I'll be good at trading, and then boom, I lost all my money. Oh crap, now I need to go back to the basics and watch this guy's video telling me that I was going to lose all my money. Crap, he was right. Knowing where to put your attention is crucial when it comes to understanding order flow and market depth. All right, so let's get into this here. So this is generally what I look at on my main screen right here. Okay, so this is the platform Jigsaw Day Trader, and what this platform does, all right, what the goal of this platform is, it's simply to aggregate the market data in a way that is very easy to view and display on your screen. So you don't have to stare at 1,000 things and be so confused about what's happening in the market, right? So just to give you a basic rundown, here you can see there's two columns, the blue one and the red one. The blue one is displaying the bids 10 prices below the current market price, and the red one is displaying the offers 10 prices above the current market price. What we're looking at this market, this is the NASDAQ futures contract. This is a recording of yesterday's screen. It was September 11th, 2020, and you can generally see that the market is pretty thin, right? There's not a lot of size being displayed on the book on either side. Therefore, the market is relatively thin at each price point. In a market that's thin like this, we do not need to be paying an enormous amount of attention to the orders that are being displayed on the order book. In this case, the level 2, like we keep saying. But what we should be paying more attention to is what orders are trading into the market. First of all, you can see right here, this tape is showing all orders trading into this market above 3 lots. And that, in my opinion, is going to be a much better indication of who is in control in the short term. All right, so right there, you saw a lot of green buy orders printing. Price, in fact, traded higher, and you can see that these offers are getting taken out. The market lifted at that point. So again, I'll stress the fact that just the level 2 data on its own is not enough for you to gain the insight you're looking for into trading the market. You do need the level 2 data for certain platforms to work. Like for example, for Jigsaw to work correctly, you do need to input a level 2 feed into the platform so that the price ladder moves correctly. But at the end of the day, the level 2 feed is not as important as some may think it is. So you saw right there, and over here is a heat map. It's showing above average orders that are sitting on the offers, and you can see they're getting taken out like cake. So just because you see a big order on the offer does not necessarily mean there's resistance. Just because you see a big order on the bid does not necessarily mean that somebody is supporting the price. Oftentimes, big institutional players will throw out these big orders just to see if they can get the market moving into one direction. After putting in some screen time to look at this stuff, you're going to learn about the things that happen on a daily basis in these markets. Like I just said, just because you see an order pop up on this book doesn't necessarily mean it's going to affect the price. What you should be paying attention to now, this is important. Now, what traders need to be paying attention to is, number one, is the price moving on orders? That is probably the most important thing. So if you see a lot of buyers hitting in, is the price moving up or is it not moving up? That right there is notable. That right there is going to give you more insight about the market participants. Big institutional players are not just going to throw out a bid of 1,000 contracts. What they're going to do is they're going to be more crafty. They're going to force the price down and slowly start accumulating those contracts that they want to buy as people are selling it to them. All right. So that's part of the game that they play. Again, guys, you're playing a game. Once you admit that you're in a game is when you can start to adapt the game player mentality and learn about the games that these guys are playing with you on a daily basis, by the way. So one of the advantages of a platform like Jigsaw is the ability to see contracts trading at each price in real time. So you can see here in the middle 2 columns, these are the current trades. I have them set to refresh quite often, but what generally happens is that contracts that trade at a certain price get shown in these 2 columns right here. So this is very useful for identifying things like absorption. So when you see a lot of contracts trading into a price, but the price doesn't move, that is something notable and we can gain insight from that. All right. So being able to see it in this sort of way makes it a lot easier to view. And you cannot see that on a chart, by the way. On a chart, you can see the price and volume, which is very important, but you cannot necessarily see the kind of orders that are hitting into each price and if the price is moving on those orders or not. And for me, that's a make it or break it when it comes to short-term trading and developing an understanding about the market participants that you're trading with or against, depending on how you see it. All right, so the last point I'd like to make in this video is talking about keeping your data fees low. So some traders might be under the impression that they require all of the level 2 data that their broker offers so that they can get the most edge possible from the market. In fact, just because you see 100 or 200 more contracts on the bid and the offer doesn't mean that you have more of an edge. It just means that you're seeing more liquidity. So unless you're a big player and you actually need to see that amount of size on the bid and the offer, that's not going to benefit your trading at all. So if you trade stocks, for example, stocks trade on many exchanges. There are many market makers on each exchange, and options, there's even more exchanges. So first you have to know what is a level 2. Okay, good, we understand it's a limit order book. So now you need to make a conclusion. Do I need to see all this data and is it going to benefit my trading? So I'll give you the example. If you trade mainly NASDAQ stocks, do you need the depth from the NYSE, the ARCA, and the NASDAQ? Some may say yes. I personally will say no. I don't think you need all of it. If you trade NASDAQ stocks, get the NASDAQ level 2. You'll see the depth that's being displayed on the bid and the offer. For all NASDAQ market makers, the depth is being shown on the NASDAQ total view feed. The advantage with futures is that there's only one exchange. So you pay the data feed for that exchange and that's it. When it comes to your data fees, guys, you want to keep them as low as possible, which means know very well which markets you trade and which data you need. When I first started trading, I subscribed to way too much data, which is normal. You don't know what you need. But the more you learn, the more you're going to know what you need and what you don't need. And the reality is there's a lot that you don't need. So Again, take everything I'm saying in this video with a grain of salt because everybody's situation is slightly different. Maybe you do need all 3 exchanges for whatever you're doing. The markets are a very large place. So you can be developing a certain approach that requires you to have all of the depth on every exchange. You don't really need all the depth from every single market maker because I already told you that the most important thing is not the depth. It's in fact how the price is moving on the orders that are hitting into the market. All right, guys, so if you gained some value from this video, leave a comment and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Take care.